Welcome to Midmnsports. We've got a chance right now to introduce to you the new Melrose volleyball coach. This is Emily Ruller. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'd like to go through the process first of all. Can you take us through how did this all develop?
Sure. So last year I got asked about the job actually, so last summer, and I kind of thought about it and decided it really wasn't the right time, and so I kind of declined the offer last year. And then this year came around and I saw the posting and I contacted the school district and just kind of asked about it and thought I could maybe set up an interview. And then I went in for the interview last week and things kind of went from there, and then I got a call last weekend about it, and I accepted the offer then. So it's kind of been a little bit of like a 2-year process, just kind of thinking about it. There's a lot of obviously moving parts to the whole process.
Because now the previous coach has been Jen Traeger.
Yep.
And so is she still going to be involved in the program?
That's kind of still up in the air. I think she wants to in some way, shape, or form, whether that be junior high or on the varsity level, B squad, C squad, or just as an assistant of some sort. I know she's really close with a lot of the girls and wants to see the senior class through. I think it's something we'll kind of talk about and decide this summer and see where things go. I'm kind of fine either way, and we're just kind of feel it out and see what happens.
What I'd like to do right now is get a little more background on yourself, if you don't mind, where people, I think, have seen you around, and they're probably thinking, well, who is that?
Yeah.
And then they look in the program and see your name,
right.
And then, well, who's that girls basketball coach and all that stuff? So
right.
Let's start from the beginning. Where did you grow up, and what high school did you go to?
I grew up in Benson, Minnesota, so an hour away from here, this area, kind of knew the area, obviously, and then I played volleyball, basketball, and track in high school. Lots of athletics. I loved doing that. And then I went to University of Minnesota Morris for college. I played volleyball and basketball there for the 4 years that I was there. That's kind of where I met Evan, as he played basketball. So Evan, the girls basketball coach at Melrose, is my husband, and that's kind of what brought us back to the Melrose area, just so we could be closer to his family. And I really like the area, just being on the interstate and being able to get closer to our friends who live mostly in the cities area. So Evan kind of brought me to this area.
And then as far as teaching yourself goes, tell us about that.
Teaching?
Yeah.
I teach in SOC. But before that, I taught at West Central area. So that's in between Morris and Fergus. I taught high school math, and then I also coached 9th grade volleyball there. And then I moved, as I said, up to this area, and I took the SOC high school math position in 2000. What year was that? I want to say 16. So this will be my 3rd year next year. It kind of goes really fast. It blurs together. And then I took the C squad basketball position with that as well.
Okay, I should ask you then too, since you are coaching and teaching in SOC Center, will you still continue to do that?
Yes, yep. I love my job there. I will stay there as long as I can, and no loyalties either way. I love my job. Nothing to do with that. And also coaching wise, I love coaching basketball and having that experience with my C squad girls. So I plan to teach and coach there still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So how do you think this is all going to come about then? What will you be discussing with your athletes on the Melrose side and the SOC Center side to just make everything blend together?
I think the biggest thing I'm going to talk about is just my love for volleyball, first and foremost. So that's what's bringing me to Melrose to coach, because it's bringing me the opportunity quicker than maybe soccer or somewhere else, and I just feel it's the right time. And just kind of talking with them about following your passion, even if it may have pros and cons. Of course, there's pros and cons of teaching in one district and coaching in another, especially when it's a big rivalry. I think just talking to them about that and just saying, if you ever have an opportunity in your life to get a job, sometimes you just have to take it, especially if you love it. You just can't, wait all the time. And I think I've talked to a couple girls. I think SOC, they'll understand. It obviously will be confusing at first, but I think they'll understand, and I have a good relationship with them. And then Melrose, I think, I won't really talk about it too much. Obviously, they know where I am. I think just focusing on them will be really good. But I think just letting them know I'm there for them. And right after school, after my job, my loyalties are to them for that entire period of time. So.
Well, let me just throw back at you that my personal opinion is that, we need good people to be coaches.
Right.
And so you are a good person. Evan Reller is a really good person. And we need them to coach and wherever it is. And I think everybody understands that, to let you do your job.
Right. It's a hard job. It's a fun job. It's a lot of work. And I think these kids need a good role model, and I think I can be that for them. And being young, a young female is always good for other young females to see that success and to see that I'm really working and being passionate about something. I think that's good for them. And, where it's at, I don't think it really matters.
Before we even really talk about, say, this year's Melrose volleyball team coming up and what you might be doing this summer, let me ask you then, too, through the interview process, what are some of the things that they talked to you about that they were looking to get out of you?
I think they just were mostly also, like you said, just looking for a good person. They didn't really care if it was from where they were from, and I think that's the biggest thing that they wanted. They wanted to obviously know coaching philosophy and if I could make it to practice at a certain time and how that would work. And I think just talking with my superintendent and with my AD, we were able to kind of work something out, and they kind of wanted to know how that process would look. And then just basic questions, obviously. And I did ask them how the girls would feel about having a streeter coach them, and they know the girls better than I do in Melrose, and they said that they wouldn't even really think about that. I think they just want somebody who's there for them and who's all in, so I think it'll be all right.
I will touch on then this year's team, because just watching three sport athletes, who I love, three sport athletes, but you've got Micaiah Littmer, you've got Ashley Rademacher, who just give it their all, and they're very talented athletes. And I'm sure they're looking at this, if you haven't already talked to them, I'm sure just knowing them, hey, we want to get going,
Right. Yeah.
You lead us and we'll follow and we'll take charge.
Yeah, I've gotten to watch them and develop and play in basketball, so that's been really fun, those two especially. I don't know many other girls a whole lot, so I watched them play a few games last year. I just remember just seeing a ton of talent and a ton of drive, and there's a ton of numbers, which is great. And I think they need that person to lead them and who really is just passionate about the sport and will lead them to maybe just try new things and maybe try different positions. I really know nothing about them, so it's just a set of fresh eyes for them too.
I would have to think then too, just with your husband Evan with the girls basketball and now Melrose volleyball, going together, a lot of the same athletes, right? And especially with the younger ones, he's an elementary teacher, right?
Mm-hmm, yep.
So what is your vision along with Evan over that way? What is your vision? Where are you starting from? How do you get going? And what is going to be the process here?
I think my vision is to, like I said, try new things. I don't really have a goal in mind. I kind of want to ask them as to how far they want to get and things like that. I think I want to try, like I said, different positions and see where people are most successful. I think a lot of them have played the same positions and see where that will lead us. And I think also just maybe getting some more girls to, I'm not saying basketball is the answer. Obviously, Evan would love me to say that, but try new sports out of volleyball, because a lot of them are great athletes, but they're not doing 2 or 3 sports. So maybe pushing them to continue their athletics also in other ways, and that will also help them on the volleyball court because they'll be playing all year long.
So again, say like this coming summer, are you involved in the little kid stuff and getting that going as well?
Right, yep. So building the program, obviously, getting the younger girls to have fun and enjoy volleyball. I don't have, they set up a camp, it's called Crush Camp, so it's in late July. So that's the younger grade, so I'm hoping to do that. And then during the season, they've done things in the past where they have the older girls run a little session with the younger girls before home games. So I think I'll probably stick with that and just continue to make the older girls visible and have them connect with the younger girls, because I feel that's really important as far as building the program up, just from young to old.
Can I bring this up? This has just been kind of a topic that I'd like to bring up, is weight training.
Sure.
And especially with the female athletes. And I see this in Sauk Center. I know my son Michael has worked a lot with the athletes over in Sauk Center.
Yep.
And over in Melrose too, you have Sandy Rasmussen, who is very much involved in that. How do you feel, how do you motivate some of these younger girls and even the varsity athletes to get in and doing some kind of weight training?
Well, sometimes you can't motivate, you might have to force. So during the season, actually, because I can't get over to the school till 3:30, they're gonna be doing some form of weight training, maybe not heavy weights, but some cardio, abs, and just like lightweight movement things to get them started. So hopefully that'll help. And then in the summer, they're pushed to do something called Build 24 with Sandy Rasmussen. So most of the volleyball girls are doing that. I love weight training because after you are done with sports, you have to find something to keep yourself active. So I lift weights. I love doing that. And I think maybe selling that and saying, hey, after you're done playing sports, you're gonna have to find some way to stay fit. And weight training is awesome. You're not gonna get huge from it. It's just good for the muscles. And I think selling that will help. But I'm hoping that this summer with the Build 24, it's right after our open gym. So they'll be able to go right to it. And then during the school year, before practice.
It reminded me to tell you a story back in the days when I talked with Callie Peschel when she graduated from high school, went to play basketball at Iowa, and she went down there for weight training. And maybe you were, a year younger than Callie, I think, right?
I was a year older.
Or a year older?
Yep, year older.
Okay. So then, what was weight training for you back then? Because she was saying when she went into college, she couldn't lift a thing.
No, I couldn't.
And the big joke was the girls came out with a broom handle and said, try to press this. And so,
right.
But as time went on, it's amazing how much stronger she got because of that.
Right.
But that's what has to happen, right?
Yeah, especially back when I was in school, which wasn't long ago, I guess, 8 years, we didn't have like the trainers to come in. So the fact that Melrose has somebody to, teach the girls maybe proper form or different ways to do things, I think that's going to help a lot too. Just getting them in there and learning. I think most of the issue is just being scared of like, how do I lift this? What's a clean? What's a, deadlift? Just kind of getting in there. So I think that'll help just getting in there this summer and trying some new things out.
Because there's so many things to become of that then too. It develops your confidence, really,
right.
Because you're bigger, stronger, faster, which everybody needs to be. And if you think that you don't need to do that, let me clue you, guess what the other teams are doing?
They're doing it now. It's like common practice now, so.
So you have to keep up.
Yes, yep.
All right. That's a good vision. I like to see that.
Yeah, hopefully it works.
Okay. So, and again, going forward, I guess just the overall atmosphere, what did you like about what you saw in Melrose? Do you feel this is kind of needed over that way? Maybe you bounce this off with your husband, Evan. Does he say things like that too?
Yeah, I think there's just they have great athletes, and I think they need somebody who's really going to push them, and I think maybe light a fire a little bit. I think they're kind of used to a few things, and like I said, changing things up. I'm a set of fresh eyes, and just some of the girls, they need, I think, just more confidence in themselves, and just maybe I can help that as best as I can, because half of what I saw anyways, if their losses, or if they didn't have many, but half of that was just their confidence and picking their heads up and pushing forward. So hopefully bringing that confidence will help. Evan talks a lot about that. It's not their skill, it's just maybe a little bit of their confidence. So building that up too.
Mm-hmm. And again, I'm just running through my head when you look at, say, Melrose girls track. Coach Masho is doing a great job of motivating those athletes.
Yep.
Swimming, Coach Meyer is wonderful at getting those girls, and they get it going. And it's something to do. I mean, they're excited about it. And I could see volleyball has to be the same way too as girls basketball. There's some girls here, again, looking at this varsity team from Littmer, Rademacher, you got Funk, you got Caveney, you got Fleischach, you got Wensman. Just
a lot of girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need that drive to go. I think somebody, not that it was bad in the past, just somebody new and fresh will maybe get them going a little bit more, hopefully.
All right. You excited?
Yes, I'm very excited.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you then. And again, hopefully everybody got a little glimpse of who you are and what, you know, I don't know. I guess, again, you said you can't really set standards and say, hey, you know, conference championship or whatever.
No, I no clue. It'll be new, and I'll let the girls kind of decide and make a goal together, and hopefully it's something good.
All right. Well, let me say this then too. I'm happy for you that, you know, has this been kind of your vision too as you got out of high school, college, and this is what you want to do, right?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that actually. As soon as I started teaching, I knew my dream was high school math and a volleyball coach. That's been my dream forever, a head volleyball coach specifically. And so the fact that it came about, maybe not how I imagined it, is exciting. And I think you don't get very many opportunities to make relationships with two sets of girls. And so I hope that, you know, they can understand where my heart is, and hopefully, you know, they'll understand making relationships with two sets of girls is awesome, and two different communities is awesome.
Well, you know, too, I was trying to think of a way to put it is, I'm all for thinking out of the box, you know, and it can't just stay, well, this is how we always did it.
Right.
It may not work that way anymore,
Right.
you know, so we got to think out of the box and do things, and, you know, just to motivate people. And hey, once the ball is out there,
I know.
let's get it on.
I'm ready.
All right, good enough. Keep in touch throughout the season. We'll talk a lot, okay?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, that is Emily Reller, and she is now the Melrose volleyball coach, and so we'll see her throughout the course of the season. All right here on Mid-Minnesota Sports.